Okay. First, hi to everyone. A new session of GESA. Today is a special session because we are an international invited. And she's Małgorzata Grodzińska from the Institute of Environmental Science of the Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And she coordinates work of socio-environmental research team. Yeah? And we are really pleased to have in this session of our group of social studies in food. And well, today she will present her work. All the other sessions is 45 minutes presentation, and then we will have a moment for the discussion with the people here in the session and also with the people that are present online. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for coming. I understand that everybody is busy teaching, doing the research, etc. So thank you very much that you are here. I will try to be shortly, and I love lecturing, but sometimes I simply prefer to talk and to discuss, more discuss than talk, because it's boring. So feel free to interrupt, to ask the question whenever you want. I'm fine with this, okay? If you have any problems with understanding, that's okay, stop me. Okay, sorry. Right. So as Claudia said, I'm a part of Institute of Environmental Sciences. My background is ecology, but then after my PhD, I shifted a bit to social sciences, and here we are. I lead a team. We work teams depending on the projects we have, we possess, we can pay the people for research. So the same story as here, and I hope that it will be also a kind of issue to discuss afterwards. So we are very interdisciplinary. We are biologists, we are ecologists, we are social scientists. We also have people on communication, etc., and social geographers. So first of all, we actually work on social aspects of nature conservation. Nature conservation means very broad area, any kind of global, but also local environmental issues. I don't want to repeat all the details and data from international publications, but especially in Europe, which is very small comparing to your country and your continent, we are at the moment somehow stuck as far as the climate threat is concerned. The temperature rises and nature is disappearing. So I don't want to lament on that, but what I wanted to say is that we, as the scientists, as the researchers, of course, we are obliged to do research, but we are also obliged to communicate science, the facts about where we are to the public. So as far as all those legislation in the European Union, and please remember, European Union is like a big, complex, I cannot say nation, but like unified series of countries who are somehow in power, let's say, but the more members, the more bureaucracy, which means that the paperwork is awesome. So any kind of international project is really time consuming, but on the other hand, we can collaborate within the continent with the countries who are the members. And I hope, and all the policies are the same. Each member state of the European Union has to follow the regulation of the EU. And as far as the environment, they are extremely strict, which means that sometimes actually we have a proverb in Polish that we are more Catholic than the Pope, right? Which means that sometimes we exaggerate with that legislation. As far as the sustainable development, which is it's like a motto of the European Union that we have to follow the task of sustainable development, whatever it means. But we've been still failing, and unfortunately, the deadline 2030 is not going to be achieved, which means that we do something else in subsectors. One subsector is the academia, the university, but having knowledge is not enough. Academia needs action, and there is a number of declaration, like for example, Durham Declaration, which is England, Coimbra, about the climate change and sustainability, which means that we need to step down from the ivory tower. Ivory tower means the people who think that, excuse me, but academia globally thinks that we are the smartest. We are in a way, but as far as the action is concerned and talking to people who are not in academia, we are somehow failing. So we need, that declaration says that we need to step down the ivory tower and simply talk to the public. Are we ready as the academia? We've done a lot of citizen science and science communication as a part of the research, and unfortunately, it was like the European research in many countries, and the results say that scientists have the role of knowledge brokers within a circular economy, not only of plastic but of any environmental issues. But on the other hand, we do lack the communication skills. Sometimes we do lack the will, and there is not a good compensation actually in any kind of evaluation system for science popularization. Going to the bottom, let's say, level, which means what have we done at the Jagiellonian University as far as the sustainability and, today I will be talking a little bit about fooding and conferences, issues, events who are organized in a sustainable way. So it was a bit sarcastic, let's say, that at our university, it wasn't us, which is the scientists, but students, master students, who started to actually talk to the rector that they wanted to have climate-free university, which means that they fight it with using the coal. And remember that Poland is in Central Europe, which means that the climate is really harsh in winter. Now it's not as harsh as I used to be while I was a child, a lot of snow, but still they actually started climate actions. It was a bit a shame, I would say, for the rectors and the governors of the university that it was students, right, who said, come on, just sit at the table and talk about that. So then after that, the Climate Council was created, was developed. I'm one of the parts of the Climate Council, and we did a lot of actions concerning the climate. For example, we did a kind of survey among all the employees of the university, scientists, non-scientists, administration, and also all the students, asking whether they are in any way for measuring the global warming, which will be included actually into the curricula of various faculties, but also on daily basis. So eventually it took a long time. Our university was set up in 1364. So it's a very funny story actually, in a way, because it was set up by the queen, not the king, which is rare in Europe, especially in Poland, Catholic country, which usually was run by the kings and the men. Sorry for the men, but it's a very old university, one of the oldest in Europe after Italy, Padua, I think, in Italy, and Prague in Czech Republic. But the time which all the documents go through all the steps of the levels of the Jagiellonian University is enormous. So it took to set up the climate strategy, it took like 2 years. No kidding. Yeah, right. Go and forth and contacting the lawyers, etc., etc. So eventually we set up. We end up at 4 objectives of the climate strategy, which is now a legal document at the university: safe, sustainable, and active university; cost-effective, nature-friendly university; responsible daily university life. This is like daily use, let's say, and open and accessible scientific information on climate change. Last year, like a year ago, there was a election for a new rector, and it's every 4th year. So it was like a, let's say, good time for asking, for somehow assessing how much friendly the candidates are for the climate changes, in not only in curricula, because it's, let's say, quite easy, but on daily life. So these are, it was a debate with 4 candidates, as you can see. I don't want to comment. Many of them, let's say at least 3 of them, didn't know much about climate change. And that's okay, actually. I'm not opinioning them because they are not biologists or geographers or whatever, but they didn't seem to be worried that the climate change is here, right? It's happening. It's happening now, and we need to do something. So eventually, the rector who is on over here, he is the rector now. He was elected, and it seems like he was lobbying for the climate change. So here we are. This is our team, and I can say we, although I'm a leader, and our team is coming and going, which means that majority of people work on the projects, which is not very socially comfortable for them. When a project ends up, then, and there is no other one, then there is a risk that some people have to leave the university. But we see us as knowledge brokers, not only as academics, but knowledge brokers means that we co-create a new knowledge, not only with scientists, which is quite easy, let's say, but having various groups of stakeholders to set up new policy, new behavior, new education, etc. So that's what we've done as our faculty, mainly our team. We've started from the upper level, which means of the administration, and we had a very big project on minimization of single-use plastic items, products, and there is a special directive in the EU that there is no ban on single-use plastic products, but there is a recommendation of minimization. Why? Because the lobbying of business, plastic business, is very, very, very strong. That's why even the EU didn't agree for banning, but recommendation, for example, for replacing. So this is, well, it seems like this is a paper, but it's not a pure paper, because if it was, it would be leaking, I mean, the coffee or tea. So there is a very tiny layer of plastic, right? So this is like a greenwashing, like a bullshit. It's just changing one for another one, which is not the solution, actually. So then we organize a conference on plastic with variety of stakeholders. It was hybrid, online and non-online. And what was a kind of a success of ours was that we had at the table producers of plastic, of the biggest plastic industry in Poland. And that's funny, actually. We all speak the same language, which means that they also didn't want to harm the health of their families and harm the environment. However, that they make money in a different way. But eventually, we sign up a kind of joint declaration that we are for minimization of plastic in the environment. And it was like a kind of success, I would say, Then science communication, visiting variety of places where the plastic appears when it is produced, when it is recycled, if it is recycled, landfill, etc. Then again, bottom up action, quit plastic. It was like inventory of all the we also have campus like yours, maybe a bit bigger, not that much bigger, on the outskirts of the city, and there is a lot of cafeterias. Some of them are good, some of them are not, depending who is running the cafeteria. But we were just inventorying how much single-use plastic products are there. Also, for example, asking, okay, can I have my own thermos to take coffee out or something like that? So we did a kind of survey among all the clients, and then afterwards we also did, yes, it's not interdisciplinary, but I think even transdisciplinary, that we've got some artists who, it was actually a fantastic challenge for me because I don't know how to draw. I don't take a lot of pictures, but anyhow, we did posters who we exposed at the tram and bus stations all over the city. So it was something, plastic, everything is in Polish, of course, but for example, one poster says plastic use but smart, right? Or minimize plastic. Another posters, plastic is out of our control. Plastic will live longer than us. Then we came to academic conferences because it was like a kind of scientific gap and also practical gap in how to try to organize a conference, which is, of course, many of them at the university everywhere, with kind of according to the sustainability task. Of course, this is a very complex syndrome that a lot of materials come into the system and then waste comes out, etc., etc. But what we wanted to say, as I said, that there was a gap actually in the research, so we got some money for that, and we could have focused on sustainability challenge, academic conference as sustainability challenge. It was also a kind of argument for our rector that if he wanted to have a good good university who is recognized as a sustainable university, we need to be somehow well ranked, which as far as the sustainability we are not at the moment. So I like to talk to him, and he's an economist, so he's from the other side, let's say. But he agreed that yes, that definitely sustainability during while organizing conferences is needed. So what we did, we tried to organize a series of workshops, but again, for people who are not only academics, but also people from any kind of management or administration who definitely do help and do support organizing any events. And we also did a lot of, and also people from gastronomy sector, and also we've interviewed people from various faculties who are represented at our campus. So what we did actually, we reconceptualized circular economy from more economic-wise to social-wise, having, let's say, a part of knowledge brokerage with non-scientists, and then eventually sell it as a citizen science or science communication. So these are two workshops, as you can see. Food is not a catering, really. We tried to do our best to convince people that this is not only cheaper, but it's better and more sustainable to prepare food. It wasn't like a big event, like 30 people, but still we were buying food, organic food, which is unfortunately still more costly in Poland than the regular food, but still then we prepared the food jointly, which was also a kind of cultural event and social event. And it opened in a way a mouth of people, especially from administration, who sometimes are a bit, let's say, stressed by the rectors that they cannot do this and this and that, right? So we did work in the subgroups, trying to identify all the problems, realistic problems, while organizing the conferences. And what was very important, we got a lot of information from administration which we did know about, not at all, like how much hybrid conference cost, and what about electricity, what about cleaning ladies who have to clean up everything and be paid after conferences, etc. And then eventually, as you can see, we also had sustainable breaks. I practice yoga, so my teacher came to us, and it was like just remodeling the classroom. Of course, it wasn't obligatory; it was who wanted to join the group. But also, we organized a meditation, like 15 minutes meditation, and also walking around the campus. And eventually, we developed a kind of guide, how to, in Polish and in English, how to organize sustainable conferences. So the results were like that barriers and proposed solutions, recommendations were identified, but not very general, like we very often do in research papers, but like very practical. Okay, this and this cost that and that. How to, when to organize it, what hours are the best for this and that, etc., etc. Also, we recommended how to calculate how much energy was spent on transport, waste reduction, and whether well-being and remote are better than on-site conferences. As I said, that we also did interviews, and definitely it was said that there is still a lack of systemic institutional support and guidance from administration. They have like a pattern, and they don't think that it should be different, and it would be too much work. Again, I'm not criticizing, but this is they didn't know about that, and somehow we opened their eyes that it could be different. Okay, so this is the guide into language, no paper version, just English version, virtual version. This is in English, but this is in Polish. If you wanted to scan that, maybe it could be helpful for you. How to organize conference, not only, of course, at our campus, but the title had to be as it is because of the rector. Just recommendations. And we did a deep research actually on any kind of existing guides, and they are mostly general. Majority of them are from of the States, American, but it seems like that one is people are just asking for that guide, and they are getting back to us that they are trying to use that. We did a good promotion with a rector letter to everyone. Okay, so that's it. This is the conferences. Now the food responsible consumption and production, which is probably much more difficult and is also a part of the conferences. And also because a lot of people actually, are kind of against any changes in Poland, and also at the Jagiellonian universities. All the gastronomy points like cafeterias or restaurants are not private. They are owned by the university, but if somebody wanted to lead it, to have it, then there is a tender. You know what tender is, right? There is a tender, and unfortunately, the regulation of the tender is that the cheapest offer win, right? It's not only in Poland, of course. Cheaper doesn't mean the best, of course, but the client, the consumer, potential consumers has changed. So now students more and more, and also employees, are for any kind of food transformation. And that's actually why we try now to do some research on them, but very practical. Why us? Because actually we are still kind of influential in the society, and the pattern on how to eat should come from academia as well. So the same story, quit plastic. We actually had a good reply, more than 8,000 visitors of our webpage, and more people who now are taking their own mugs or own thermoses. And then again, there is a legislation, kind of sanitary legislation, that you cannot fill in the cafeteria, you cannot fill the thermos because it can have a microorganism or whatever. But we did a fight again. So it's like, sometimes I feel like a fighter, like every day I go into the battle. But anyhow, it was changed. So the same with what I've already said with the circular economy. The food director was also invited. Also, two owners of the cafeterias were invited, and it was very embarrassing, let's say, that we asked them the questions about the food, and they were simply maybe not lying, but didn't telling the truth. Where is the food from? How much you wasted, etc., etc. So. Actually, this is not only the high prices, which are too high for some students especially, but it's also a kind of difficulty in verifying product origin, eating habits, unclear regulation on food donation, etc., etc. So there is a lot of challenges actually to be overcome, based on the opinions of customers, of clients, which the university is very afraid of. And in case of our university, of our campus, there is a kind of monopoly of the restaurants, because it's on the outskirts of the city, so there are not a lot of places to eat something at, and that's why, for example, usually I get my food in thermos containers. Okay, so what we wanted to do in this project, we applied for 3 projects at the moment. We are like a machine of applying for the projects at the moment, unfortunately, but it is how it is. So we wanted to transform traditional system of academic fooding, which means that we wanted to create a new model of system of food among academias in the entire country, but not only in Poland, but we've got a partner from Germany, Berlin, and I hope that you will be also on board, and it would be not just a very nice, let's say, academic comparative study, but something to do on daily basis, right? Change, educate people how to eat. Don't press anyone, of course, not to eat meat or whatever, but still the culture of eating, right? Not just doing this in very fast and with very processed food. So we applied for, this is Una Europa project. It's like for 6 universities in Belgium, Spain, Germany, Finland, and the United Kingdom. And we wanted to explore actually the potential of food system transformation at the university and develop a network for long-term research collaboration. However, well, we are going to be informed whether we went through or not sometime in November. But still, even if we're not given the money, we've got partners who are very similarly to us interested in transformation of food. So this is, I mean, very detailed scenario of the research, and then we are given, and this is given really money from the Ministry of Science that they want us to make an evaluation of gastronomy points at the universities over the country. There has been a lot of rumor about cafeterias among students, especially in the capital city, Warsaw, because it's very expensive and very bad. It was said, so there were strikes of students, so the government has to do something about that. So I was volunteered, let's say, saying that we can do that research based on the case studies, like a few cities who are big cities, but also cities like provincial cities. So we'll see how it goes. We wanted to conduct a survey, but also talk to the rectors and also talk to the people who run the food facilities. If everything goes smoothly, then we'll start it sometime in January. And this is another invitation for you. Then we can also do here a comparative study. Unfortunately, we cannot give you the money, but you can do it, like we can work together on the survey, for example, and then you will translate it into Spanish, and then we can do comparative study. Okay, and so this is actually almost the end. Instead of conclusion, I would deeply, I don't have to motivate you because I've talked already to some of you to do something together, which is fascinating. I'm still kind of liking very much my work because there's a lot of challenges to be solved or at least managed. And yeah, this is actually, this is a very good book, actually. I'm Right and You Are an Idiot. This is about, this is written by the American scientist who says what I've said at the beginning, that we speak not the same language as the public, unfortunately, and we are a part of the public, right? So why not do science communication? And then what I wanted to say, but I think we can break now, that we also, I talked to Claudia already, that at the Institute of Environmental Sciences, we do have master and PhD study for international students. We also have students from South America. And if you are interested, we can accept those students for a pretty low fee. And they are given the stipend. And if this is master study, is like 2 years course, and PhD is 4 years. But we can also do it. So this is like a kind of legislation, but we can also do it as, like, for example, to share a master or PhD student means that by the legislation, we can have a student can have 2 supervisors, one back home and one in the other country. And part of the research can be done in her country, and another part in, let's say, in Poland, all the way around. And he or she can work on the subject as in our project. So you are very welcome. My director, she said that you really are very welcome. We have students from all over the world, from Siberia, from Africa, South Africa, and from Somalia, and also from South America. So you can, like, feel safe to send us the students if they, of course, want to be with us. Winter are not as severe as they used to be, so probably they would survive. Yeah, so that's it. And then the details about the study if you want afterwards. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.